girl, get at it, get your bag up. Hit that gym and get back fine.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back with another Take two. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another episode of So What Now podcast. I am Doreen, one half of your hostess team here, and my other hostess is. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Boo.
It's me, Boo, your favorite 1 and 2, Miss Candy Apple 305.
Everybody's favorite here. All right, guys. So week 1, we gave you guys, New Year's resolutions, talking about working out, all that good stuff. Last week,
Yes.
we talked to you guys about body positivity, talking about social media and how plastic surgery and things like that play onto your mental health. So we're going to transition a little bit this week off of your, I guess, physical appearance and get more into your financial situation. Yeah. We're going to jump all up into your business. We want to know.
Yes.
Get into the business. So this week's episode, we're gonna kind of dig a little deeper into our finances. Not necessarily like giving you guys numbers, like we ain't doing all that. I'm not y'all willing to help and trying to send us some money. Patrick, I seen your comment last week where you was like, you want a Cash App. So just in case you're wondering, my Cash App is Doreen Matthews. I take it all. Let me know if you need my Zelle, if you need my what you need.
April 305.
All right, so we're gonna start off. I'm gonna do my shout out for this week's episode a little early because this book I just finished. It's more of a self-discovery book. I just finished this book and it's called Living Bougie and Balanced: Mastering Your Money Mindset. It's a self-discovery book. It's by the Bougie Banker. That's her Instagram name, but her name is Raquel Curtis. Somehow I came across her on. Actually, I think the first time I came across her was on YouTube, and she was on somebody else's podcast, and she was talking about how her children, I think she has like young children. I want to say her daughter's like 7 or 8, and she already has she has their bank account set up. She pretty much is getting their credit together by putting them on her credit cards. They have like Roth IRAs and all types of business accounts and like savings plans already set up for them. So that way, once they become of age and become adults, their financial situation will look a lot better than what hers, I'm sure, looked like growing up and what ours look like growing up or now, whatever the case may be. So I came across that, and then I ended up, the government be listening to us. So somehow she popped up on my Instagram. So I started following her at the Bougie Banker, and she's always just putting nice little quotes, and she's just giving a lot of financial advice and tips on how to, invest and save and set yourself up for financial freedom going forward. And I ended up taking one of her, I don't know if it was a course, but I did one of her workshops, I guess you could say. I actually paid for it too. So listen, y'all, I don't be paying for stuff, but I was like, you know what? When you're serious about taking control of your life, sometimes you got to put in a little work. When things are free, we don't take it as serious. So I think I paid for it. I don't know. We'll probably. But I'm more than likely, I'm pretty sure I paid for it. But yeah, so I took her course, and we kind of dug deep a little bit. Kind of went over some questions that are in this book that we're going to kind of go through today. I'm going to answer some of the questions. You can answer some questions, whatever you feel comfortable with. You guys in the comments can also go ahead and answer some of those as well. But it was a really good and very eye-opening course. Because sometimes when we think of money, it's either I have it or I don't have it. My parents had it or they didn't have it. And, a lot of us talk a lot of game of, I wish somebody would have taught me more about finances as I was a kid. And some of us, I don't, but some of us have children now who we need to be the ones to teach that because they don't teach finances in school, which they definitely should, because trigonometry, I didn't need you. Okay.
None of us needed it.
I didn't need none of that. But, I think they definitely need to go back to teaching home economics and woodworking and, what is the other one with the cars?
Mechanic shop.
Yeah, that shop class, all that needs to get back into these schools and add finance to it because like I said, some of these students are like we're not breaking these generational curses. And me personally, I don't remember. Like both of my parents passed when I was younger. I was 13 by the time I lost both of my parents, almost 14. So I just remember, I definitely remember being on food stamps when they was like the little actual paper, colorful behind booklets. I remember being on food stamps, but I also remember never really wanting for anything. My mama always, I always had dinner. I feel like I always
they made sure you had.
And when you're a kid, you sometimes don't realize. Like for all I know, it could have been. Now the knowing that we have food stamps, I'm pretty sure it's pretty hard. But then again, people be finessing the system, so I don't know. But it was one of them things where I never really needed anything or never like really wanted for anything. So as far as I know, I had everything, and then I did it. So it's one of the things where it's like, oh, my mama got it, my mama got it, my mama got it, and then my mama not here, so hey, I ain't got it. I got to figure it out. But
You
yeah,
gotta learn.
we're gonna just go ahead and jump into this. Well, how do you feel about money? Like, tell me that. What is your thoughts when you hear money? What do you think?
Money, man, money. I always used to hear money is the root of all evil. More money, more problems. Um, so for me, money can be a little bit of both. It could be good and bad. Growing up, I grew pretty good. My mom died when I was 13, but my dad was very financially driven. So he already knew the plan he wanted for his family. And even as a young kid, I do remember like my dad trying to teach me some things about being financially stable. Um, so I have an ideal, but it was just my own ignorant understanding to blow money because I knew it was going to come in. Um, and just relearning how to be more financially responsible, and to not, because you never know when your next dollar might come in, no matter if you are an entrepreneur or you're working a regular 9 to 5. Like, the pandemic has really shown us that we need to be in a better place financially if something ever happened to us, job wise, or just anything.
Yeah.
So it's a learning experience, and I'm still learning. Even in like my late 30s, I'm still learning how to be financially responsible adult and trying to teach my son how to be. Even though, like, let me tell y'all something. This generation, oh my gosh, they think money really just grow like magic. Like, it's always something. And I thank God that my son is not that type of kid to really want so much stuff. But baby, the Uber Eats, like the Amazon
Mama got to
Prime.
cook. April don't be wanting to cook for him.
On next week's episode. That's true. I am learning how to do better,
That-
even though he's about to graduate. I'm
yeah,
learning.
he about to be gone. All right, so like one of the main things, or one of the ways that she starts off is she's kind of talking about your money mindset, and the way she describes what your money mindset is basically like, what is your thought process when it comes to money? Like, what do you think about it? What do you think it's for? Or when
Mm,
you have money, like, what do you think that you're supposed to do with it? Or how do you like, I guess, like how do you, I guess, embrace it? So for me, like what I kind of wrote down was, I feel like my money mindset is that I'm always waiting for money to come in, but I already have somewhere for it
mhm,
to go. It's like
mhm,
there's a bill, there's like it's never like money's coming in and I'm just like, dang, I got all this extra money. Like I can play, I can save it, I can do whatever. It's always like, all right, I get paid on Friday. This and this is due. Will I have anything left over? Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Or
mm,
like I'm not thinking about it like, oh yeah, I get paid on Friday. Like I mean, the people that have money is like I get paid Friday. They don't even know when they get paid because they got the money. Like it's whatever. Some of us that don't have the money like that, it's like
we banking on
I
it.
know when it's coming. Like, okay, dang, I got 6 more days, 3 more days, 1 more day, 2 more days. Dang, now that I'm thinking about it, let's say I'm getting 1,800, 1,750 is already going to these bills. I got $50 that
Mhm,
got to last me another 2 weeks. Like and I'm not that bad anymore, just because I do have like smaller additional incomes that do come in. However, we've all been there at some point. When I'm not say we all, I don't know people's finances, but a lot of us has been there at that spot before, and I for sure have been there where it's like every single paycheck I'm paying back the last paycheck, and it's like I'm not
yeah.
getting anywhere. I'm not getting ahead, and a lot of that is my fault, which we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, that's my money mindset. So like, what is your thoughts, or what is your money mindset when it comes to having money or thinking about money?
So being younger, I used to blow it because, again, my mindset then was home. I live at home with my dad. I'm not paying any rent. I'm not really paying no real bills. Only real responsibility I had was my son. So I would just spend my money just foolishly. My mindset now is, of course, long term longevity. Um, I'm growing up in an era where Social Security benefit will be pretty much exhausted by the time I reach the retiring age. So I would need to be able to be financially stable and able when I do turn 60 to be able to survive in this world. God willing that I am able to make it to that age. So now my mindset is more mature to want to be able to have better savings goals. Again, you don't know where life is going to take you, and where life takes you, you have to be prepared, not only mentally but financially too for it. So I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm knocking on 40 soon, so I definitely have
Oh,
to
you
be
so
there.
old. No.
Girl, the only thing old is these drawers.
Oh my God. A mess. A mess.
Yeah.
All right, so she kind of lists it's some more things in here, but I'm just gonna skip through it. I'm not gonna go through the whole book because I want you guys to go out there and support her for Black businesses, y'all. But she kind of lists a bunch of common feelings that are associated with money. So these are words that people sometimes associate with money. I'm gonna list them off. I think like 8 or 9 of them or whatever. And I want you to tell me the word that you feel like you associate when it comes to money. Okay.
Okay.
So the words that she have here is happiness, frustration, anxious, confident, unconfident, resentment, guilt, shame, embarrassment, optimistic, pessimistic. Pick one, you can pick two, you can pick three.
Um, happiness. I like confident. And I'm talking about now. What else? Um, Sometimes frustrating. So that's what I can identify with.
Yeah, for me, and mine is more frustration, guilt, and like all negative and resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's is
Is
more
that
definitely
now or just thinking of before?
it's more now. I feel like I'm like I don't think I'm not in the worst financial place that I've ever been, but I'm also not at my best.
Okay.
Me, I feel like a lot of like when I was at my worst, I was just worried about getting to my best, so I didn't really dig deep and think about how I felt when it came to money. But
Okay.
when it comes to frustration, I'm definitely frustrated with my finances only because, or I'm frustrated with money because I feel like for um the amount of education that I have, the amount of degree,
Hmm.
the amount of experience, the amount of like life, and just the amount of the amount of all of that that I have, I feel like my financial situation should not be where it is. And that comes into play when it comes to my pay, where I am. I have family members, I have friends who some people who straight out of school never went to college. They're making twice as much as me. I
And
have
that's the
people
crazy
that,
part.
maybe got one degree, have probably went to jail and came out and make more than me. And it's like
Hmm.
I went to school. I did the work. I did what I was supposed to, or I did what I was told I was supposed to do, or what society says you're supposed to do. Graduate, go to college, get a job. I've gotten a job. I've gotten another job. I've gotten another job. And no matter where I worked, everybody was always praising my work or so proud of everything that I've done. But it never showed in my finances. Never.
Hmm.
I felt like I was always making the bare minimum. People used to always be like, you move around a lot. You're always doing new jobs. And for me, it was like the okay, so for the guilt comes into play because I feel like when I was in my 20s, I didn't say my guilt is well, okay, so when I was in my 20s, I always believed the mindset that I loved my job. I loved working in sports and media. I loved, doing that. That was something I loved to do, and it was never really about the money. It wasn't about the money
Hmm.
until it really became about the money. Until I started looking back at the money that I didn't have, the money that I was supposed to have, the money that was taken from me, the money that was never given to me, like or like the choices I made when it came to money, whether it was going to schools that didn't offer me scholarships, whether it was moving across country by myself, whether it was taking out student loans, whatever it was, there was a lot of guilt
Hmm.
in me because then I feel like everybody's proud of the accomplishments that I have. Everybody's so thankful, not thankful, but everybody's so like supportive in the sense that like, oh, oh, you're in school again, you're so smart. I feel dumb. I don't feel smart at all. I feel really dumb because like literally my student loans are more twice as much as what I paid for my condo in Miami. Twice as much. Not exactly.
Golly.
I feel so dumb. Like I got the education, got the
But
experience,
it's not
but I'm
matching.
not. It's not matching my pay.
What like the saying is the math ain't mathing.
Math ain't mathing. It ain't mathing. And it was just like I had to like figure out. That's why I'm always people are always, you're always doing something. Like you're always coming up with these ideas and whatever. It's like sometimes I come up with ideas for the moment because I need to make a quick dollar real quick, and I make my quick dollar, and I'm just like, I'm over this.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely trying to do better, or I definitely am doing better in that mindset. Where so like I'm trying to stick to things that even if they work for a second and then they stop working for a while, which I'm going through now with my business. It's like I started off, everybody was like support, 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 and then it kind of died down, and I get frustrated. But I'm like I can't get frustrated by people's lack of support. I'm not supporting myself. I'm not putting 110% in there myself. I'm not promoting myself to my full ability, and I can't just promote to people that I know. I can't just be like April, buy this, cousin, sister, buy this. And I was doing that for a moment where I'm like, hey, what y'all doing? Like, support, support, support. And it gets frustrating, of course, when people that you support others that are not you. And you look at it and you're like, okay, I have 15,000 or whatever it is, or 15,000. I have 1,500 friends on Facebook. I have 1,500 friends on Instagram. And if everybody just bought one thing, or if everybody just sent $1 or donated to one
Hmm.
cause, I would be this and I'll be that. And it's like, but at the end of the day, do I support everybody? Do I go buy and purchase from every single person? Do I speak to these people on a regular basis? Do I call them? Do I know their financial situations? I don't. So that's where that guilt comes in because I start getting frustrated, and then I'm angry, which I don't think angry was one of the words, but I'm angry, and then I feel the guilt because I'm like, dang, now I feel guilty because I'm over here putting my ambition on other people. Like I'm only way I can succeed is if y'all support me. And that's not the case.
Hmm.
And then when it comes to the resentment, like I said, there's is resentment more so for people and not necessarily finance. And whether that's for my mother, my father, my grandmother, like just resentment in a sense that like I feel like I wasn't taught the proper way to deal with money, and I feel like I had to learn a lot of that on my own. Feel like I was set up for failure, honestly. And a lot of it is not, people's fault. Like I said, my parents passed away when I was young. Like they weren't thinking at, 12, 13 to, I didn't, well, my dad really was never in America. So we didn't have as close of a relationship. I honestly don't really remember too much about him if I'm being completely honest. Um,
Hmm.
but with my mom, it's like I was barely out of middle school. And I'm pretty sure we all thought we had more time. I don't really know
I
what her
know I
financial
did.
situation was. Like I said, all I knew is my mama was always doing something for somebody, and I feel like that's where I get my downfall in.
Where you get it from?
Yeah, but it was like, yeah, it was always weddings or birthdays or table some things called little centerpieces. She was always making something or sending something or doing something for someone, and I feel like
She was doing that to fill in the gap.
I don't know what it was, but all I feel like is I have a lot of resentment when it comes to my finances, but more so towards my parental figures.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, so that do you have any like a lot of yours was more positive than mine. Mine's was all negative. I'm working on it.
Well, I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while to get to this point. Again, it took for me to work on having one to change my mindset. I was always so clenched on the dollar. So once when I learned
Kind of
how
froze
to
for a
just let
second.
the
I'm
dollar
not
go.
sure what happened.
Oh, am I still there? Am I still
Yeah, you're here
frozen?
now, but you kind of froze for a second, so I'm not sure what you were saying
Okay.
in between.
I had to learn how to just not be so uptight about when I'm going to get this next dollar. And I'm a big person on manifestation and speaking positivity. Again, it did not take overnight. Like, I mean, I literally had to learn discipline all over again. And once when I started One, I had to stop giving my money away because I felt like I had to be that person to help everybody. And people will always want to borrow. Can I borrow? Can I, do you have? And I'd be like, okay. And then that would leave me broke. So now I got to look to my daddy to kind of help me out, which I got tired of doing because here it is, I'm a person with a child. And even though he provides, I need to provide for myself.
Yeah.
I can't learn from always running to help. How can I help myself if I'm running to some help? So once when I took that step back and I had to get me together, then I was able to it was a step process. Work, get my money together, put my money to the side, show my child, you know, and I'm not gonna even lie. My son is 17. Just literally because he started a little job, I opened him up a bank account. I should have been open up him one, but I just recently opened him a bank account so he can deposit his paycheck in there. And he's already like, when we gonna go get my car? When we gonna go get my car so I can go get my money? And I'm like, just wait, little grasshopper. You have plenty of time to go get this little hot $300. Just chill. Um, so now when I say that I have happiness, I'm a little bit more confident. Like I'm I'm happy to say that I went and bought a new car and I can afford my car payment. And knock on wood, I have yet to be late. I have yet to say I need to push back a payment, you know.
Yeah.
I'm even able at that point where I can um make my payments a little bit ahead of time and apply money towards my principal. It again, I'm going to constantly repeat this throughout this segment. I had to learn it. I had to reevaluate where I was financially to get to this point. Even like I keep my friends, we have this running joke to say, I'm getting my big girl stuff together. Like, don't judge me on this. My dresser in my room is the same dress I had since I was in the ninth grade. I'm finally gonna get me a big girl dresser.
Listen, does it hold your clothes? Is it falling apart?
Nope.
Is it scratched up,
But
beat up? Is it not like
um,
unless it's a Barbie dresser, like it worked?
I mean, I'm a little wide backish. You know, I don't know if you've seen my back. It's a little wide, so the clothes are a little bit wide. They got to go in there, so I need a little bit more space. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, just because of growth, I want something because it's time for me to grow up, and that's what I'm doing. Um, and I a lot of that contribute to my dad. My dad always say, invest in yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna buy something, you make sure you buy it and it's worthwhile. Again, we have great furniture that he's invested in. When I was this was 1999 that he bought this. We're in 2022. And that's how long I've had this piece of furniture because again, he's a smart man when it comes to money. Our house was paid off many moons ago because he took the time and he invested and he worked as long as he had to work and he did what he had to do to make sure his family had. Now, it may have been some nights where I'm in bed and he was still at work, but he made sure the lights were still on, the food was still on the table, my mom was still able to do what she had to do. So I had a great, excuse me, I had a great leader, I had a great follower, a great teacher. My dad loves thinking money. So yeah, that's why I'm able to say I'm here where I am now because I had a great person to follow. I ain't the best. I'm still learning.
Everybody ain't got it. Everybody ain't able.
I'm, yeah,
Everybody
everybody,
ain't able.
everybody ain't able. And I was foolish in the beginning. Like I was like, I got my daddy. He'll still give me my money. But then it was like, when that money stopped, what you gonna do? So I'm a little bit better.
So the next question, you kind of answered it within yours, I guess. Dang, it just seemed like I'm gonna be like the negative Nancy this episode, and you just seem so positive.
we gonna change.
I should have asked you a
We
couple
gonna.
of. We should have did this a couple of months ago when you wasn't learning yet. No, I'm just kidding.
we gonna your mindset gonna change to
No,
what?
okay. So my mindset for sure has changed. It definitely has
Mhm.
changed, but I'm being realistic in where I am right now. My mindset has changed, but my situation has yet to change completely. It's changing. It's ever changing, but it's not completely like where I am. We do this again in 3 4 months. It's going to be a big difference. But
Yes.
where I am today, it's like I have the idea. I started making changes. I started implementing those changes, but we're still not where we need to be. So
Hmm.
one of the things, also when I say frustration, let me go back to that for a second, is like you mentioned earlier, you're always like giving, loaning out money. And I felt like that was me for a long time, even when I didn't have it. As long as my bills were paid, any extra I
I'm
had
good.
going into savings, it was going to whoever needed it, whether it's family member, a friend, whatever. Somebody like literally, and some people I think for sure I've been taken advantage of for sure because I
Of
think the type of
course.
person that I am, like I'm just always want to help somebody. I think I have this like hero complex in a sense, where it's like
Mm.
April mentioned to me, dang man, my car is just tripping right now. I got to figure out how to get another $150 or whatever. You may not be asking me directly. And I'm like, well, what do you need? Like, you need it today? Like, are you going to be able to, like, whatever? And if I physically have it, not that I have it to spare, but if I physically have it and my actual bills are like my main bills, as far as like my house, my car, electricity is paid. Let's say it might be like a phone bill money, or it might be for something else. I'm just like, well, if you like, I know you need your car, so like I'll give it to you. Just give it back when you can. Instead of saying, yo, I
Yeah.
need my money back at 2 o'clock on Saturday the 3rd, like I'm like, just give it back
On
when
the
you can.
dot. And then I'm applying interest.
Yeah, so it'll be one of those things where I'm doing that, not realizing that not everybody, but some people over the years have taken advantage of that where they know, let me mention it to her real quick because she's gonna offer to help. She's
Mm-hmm.
gonna offer to fix it. And I would always,
Yep.
always be like, well, what can I do? I mean, I learned certain people's traits over the years. So some people got the, I ain't got it. And now the answer is always, I ain't got it. And not just because I'm telling you that, it's because I don't. Because now, even I didn't have it then to give, and I don't have it now to give because now the what I don't have to give that I usually would have gave you, I'm putting it towards myself. I'm paying
Yes.
myself first, and I have to make sure
Yes.
that I do that. And because I was always the one giving, it got to the point where I felt like 2019 was just a hard year for me. I don't even
Yeah.
like it was just a transitional year. It was a hard year for me, and shit just like went downhill. Financially, things just went bad. Don't know how,
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, it just went bad. And then I got to a point where I became, well, let me not say that. I have not became the person that I was to me, but I have, I have like one, two, maybe 2 to 3, maybe just two people in my life that I know if I ever need something that I can call
You
them.
can call on them.
And what bothers me about me saying that is because I know if I ever need something, I can call them. And I feel like I have taken advantage of that to the point where, I mean, like for whatever reason, like don't get me wrong, like I'm always going to give it back. It may take a minute, but I'm always going to give it back.
But your face good and you good for it.
Yeah, so like I like whether it's a little bit at a time, eventually like it's done, but like it hurts. It is so painful and it's like one of the worst feelings in the world knowing that you owe somebody something. Like I hate
Mm-hmm.
it with a passion. And for years I would never ask anybody for anything because I felt like I don't like not that anybody like actually made me like or told me this, but as a kid I always felt like I owed somebody something. Like always.
Right.
Because my parents were gone and I grew up like with my family members, I'm living in somebody else's house. I'm eating somebody else's food. I mean, I started working when I was 16, but that wasn't like enough to like really take care of me. So I always felt like I owed someone something. If I lent
Mm-hmm.
out something or if I borrowed something, I mean, not borrowed, but if I lent somebody money back then, or if I did like, anybody did something to me, I always felt like, you know what, they took care of you. Person did
Yeah.
whatever. Or, your friendships, whatever the case may be, it was always something where I felt like I'm not asking because, or if I, I'll never ask for things back years upon years of hundreds and like not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of dollars that's been loaned over the years to people that I have never asked for back, that I've never getting back. Even the ones that I did ask for back, sometimes just would never come back. And sometimes I
Yeah.
would ask, like, hey, can I get $20 just to see, forgetting that you
If they
might owe
go.
me 200, just to see if I'm going to get it, just to be told, oh, I don't have it. But I'm like, but you owe me two. I see you shopping. I see you doing it. So it's kind of frustrating, and that's kind of like I think it's part of the reason I don't like to go out too much because I feel like I want to make sure that my finances are spent on the right things. Like the most
Mm-hmm.
what I spend my money on, which is so freaking terrible, is other people. I literally spend my money on other people. And it's like I know I need it, but I'm always trying to do my little blessing bags or volunteer this and doing like I'm always trying to help the next person. It's like, girl, you gotta God helps those who help themselves, you know. And somebody made the little analogy the other day. It was like, when you're on an airplane, and they always tell you like on a safety briefing, like if the pressure drops in the cabin, you got to put your mask on first before you help somebody else. And I just don't do that. I'm always like, I get you give me $500 today, April. instead of me taking that $500 and putting it towards one of my bills or spending it on myself, I'm like, okay, oh, who wants to do blessing bags? Okay, I'm gonna put this $300 towards that, and I'll do
Can't do it.
I'll do some donations, and whoever wants to donate can also help or whatever. And people donate, they do. I appreciate that they do show up and they donate for the things that I do. And I think it's because they trust me in a sense to know that I'm doing with it what I say I'm going to do with it. And that's why I make
Yeah.
sure I'm always recording and doing things. I'm like, y'all gonna see this. I don't want nobody ever feeling like I'm scamming them or taking their money. Like, nah, bruh, this is what we're doing.
But like, what you got on my 40,
We're
homie?
shopping. We shopping. Yeah, but it's hurtful. Like, it literally hurts me in my core to know that, like, I'm owing somebody something, whether you're asking me for it or not, or whether you're, whatever the case may be. Like, I'd rather owe the bank than owe a person. Like, I do. Like, that's how I am right now. But I sat myself down at the end of the last year and I wrote out my plan, minus my student loans, because they gonna be there forever. But I wrote out my plan of my debt, what I owed anybody or anything, any cards, any whatever, anything on my credit. Like, I just wrote down every single thing, and I'm like, okay. So I want to say my total was like 26K.
Okay.
And stuff that I want to pay off in this year, which is very, very, very doable. Granted, it's doable if I sit my ass down, don't go nowhere, and don't do nothing, which is what I do most of the time anyway. But that also includes not giving to anyone else. It also includes not taking as many trips. Like, I'm going on a trip this weekend, y'all. I am, but it was, I got to start the year off right. But
you got to.
I planned on taking so many trips this year, but I had to tell myself, like, nah, like, no. Like, even the thing about it is, you gotta be careful of these deals too, because I found a deal, like a $200 and something ticket to Antigua to go visit my sister, where tickets are usually $500-$600, and I'm just like, do it, purchase a ticket, get it. Like, you're never gonna see the deal again. And then I had to talk myself out of it. Like, no, don't do that. There is something on your credit right now that's $227. Go pay for that.
You can apply it to that.
Go pay that. Like, knock that off real quick. You just seen her. Like, you don't need to see her again. you talk to her on the phone every day. Like, I love to travel, and I feel like my time is coming. I traveled before. I am going to travel this year, just not as much as I want to. But I realize I'm gonna push a lot of that back. In my mind, literally, I was like, all right, this month I'm doing this. This month I'm doing this. Some of them was going to be like local trips where I can just drive around. But I had to, like, really make that understanding to, like, we can't do this. We can't continue to go this way.
You can still, and like you say, you're pulling back because baby, I'll be with you this weekend. I sure would have been. But I'm on a fitness track, and I'm like, let me stick to my commitment, because you're not the only person that offered a trip to me.
I
And I was
definitely was
like,
not being helping her stay committed, y'all. I was like, forget that. Just come
you could do
on.
it at the beach. And I'm
Like, I
like,
got a 5K. I'm like,
no,
it's okay. We want to climb a mountain. That's your 5K right there.
I done spent this money, because I was supposed to also go to Memphis, for MLK weekend. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But so a travel agent. Now I became an agent just for my own selfish being, because as a travel agent we get crazy mad discounts. Um, and as you see, like, as often as I would travel, I don't spend that much money. I really don't. Even now, what I noticed when I went to New Orleans, I didn't spend that much money on food. And now at some point, we had people buying us food. So we really didn't spend, I can honestly say, I didn't spend no more than maybe about $150 in New Orleans. Um, my hotel, my ticket, all was like pretty reasonable. And again, I try to plan ahead and put money to the side and say, I'm only going to spend this much. Now is, I take my cash to the side, which is almost like doing the savings envelope. Except
I do it.
I'm very ADHD, HDD, self-diagnosed. So doing the envelope challenge was very challenging, because I'd be like, oh, I got $1. Oh, I'm gonna go spend it. And then I'd be like, oh, I got $1. I need to put in an envelope. And then I'd be like, I might need that dollar. So I'm busting an envelope open, and that's bad. But I've been really good with putting just put it to the side. And then after like so many days, I go deposit it. I had to do a better outlook. And it took for me to become older to understand that. But At least I'm understanding it. And you have to turn negatives into positive. I had to speak positivity into my money. I had to speak positivity into my bank account. I literally would write out what I want to do financially, and eventually I'm going to get there. But again, you have to have a better positive outlook. And when you're constantly driving yourself into a negative thought to say, oh, well, I ain't got this, and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, well, you're constantly going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul if you're thinking about it like that. Um, my worst time financially was when I was with my ex. My ex didn't work, and I was constantly trying to provide for a household that I didn't live in. Like, I didn't live with this man.
I want to
He
fight you.
didn't
I
have
don't even know you, sir, but we about to go into square. I don't live here. Okay.
yeah. And it was just like, because I love this person so much and I want this person to be so much, I want it better for him. And don't get me wrong, like, he wanted better for himself, but it was on my account, my paycheck. And I dealt with that for like so many years. And he's becoming a better person himself. But I was in a terrible, terrible, terrible position financially. Like, that was that moment where I was calling my car note people, asking for an extension, driving around with no insurance because the insurance was too expensive, asking people, can I borrow this and I'll pay you when I get paid next Friday? Or I'm switching banks because they said I can get paid 2 days early. And if I can do that by the time my paycheck hit, it'll be a Wednesday versus a Friday.
Mhm.
Those were the type of positions that I was in. Now I get paid Friday, and that's when my paychecks sit at. I'm not gonna say I'm one of the ones who don't check my account. Oh, I know every 2 weeks I'm gonna get paid. I'm still checking my account.
Yep.
oh, oh, deposit landed at 3 a.m. All right. I just want to make it's a surety that I'm getting paid. But again, it takes growth. It really, really, really had to take growth. And oh my gosh, I'm sitting here listening to myself like, is you really talking like this? Yes. It took growth, and it's still me growing because I made some stupid decisions financially. A little bit now. Like, I applied for a card that I really didn't need to apply for. Like, seriously. But I'm working on building my credit to be better. Um, by December, I am going to be where I want to be credit wise, which should be like 700. So that's my goal. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Man, I feel like a lot of the questions that I get ready to ask you, you kind of answer before I even ask you, which is good. Like, I'm like, oh, she just went into the next topic. Go ahead, girl. Yeah, but it was like the next two questions was pretty much like, where did you learn about debt, and when did you first learn about the importance of saving? So
Oh
for me,
yeah,
when I was first, I
adulthood.
think the first time I learned about the importance of saving was when I graduated high school, and I learned about the importance of saving, but I didn't have any money to save. But I learned
Mm,
about it or when I first like was like, whoa, okay, this like, how do I leave and go to school for the first time with $0? I probably had like $100. I don't know, but like looking back on it now, it kind of hurts, and it's a little frustrating, but it's one of them things where like most people that graduate high school, and people do those trunk parties where everybody come and they like you know they give you all this crap to get ready to go to school with, whether it's like laundry detergent, money, cards, whatever the case may be. So
right.
I remember having one. I remember graduating high school. I remember having a little cookout get together. I remember a bunch of people being there. I also remember going to school with nothing,
Mm,
like nothing, and like uh it's another part that I'm going to just keep to myself. I'm not going to speak. I'll leave that for personal stuff. But just going to school with nothing really, and it was like, and then I get to school, and then like all my new teammates and people are coming, like they're coming with their parents. Like my grandmother and a family friend brought me to school, whatever. So I did have somebody with me, but it was like these people are coming with their parents, and they're coming to school. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna say I had nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure we stopped at Walmart and got me some like stuff, like the basic necessities that I needed. I'm pretty sure that was there. But people coming to school with their mini fridges and all this stuff, whatever. And like I said, I had the basics. I think I had a mini fridge. I had like toilet tissue and toothpaste and all that stuff or whatever. But there was no extra. There was no extra.
You had your needs, and you was expecting to get the wants. I want
Not
this, but
not even the wants, but I feel like I need money. Like
mhm,
I'm in school. It wasn't too bad. It was like 2 hours away from home. I'm in school.
okay.
I don't have a car. Um, my school was in the middle of Amish country. So they were literally a mushroom farm across the street from my school. A mushroom farm.
Oh,
There was
what?
Amish people that lived behind our school, and it's a HBCU in the middle of Amish country.
What?
We're like 45 minutes from Philly, like 20 minutes from
Okay.
Delaware, but we were just like the location we were in was like Amish country. Um, but it was like it wasn't until after I was there, and I'm just like, whoa, whoa, I ain't got
Right.
nothing. So I would call home like, hey, I got $20. Hey, you got this, and it got to the point where I was an athlete. I became a three-sport athlete. But at the time, I played volleyball and I ran track, indoor and outdoor track. So as an athlete,
Mhm.
you're getting up at 6 a.m. for practices. You got classes all day long. You got afternoon practices. And then I was like, I gotta work. I can't do that. So I started doing work study, so I could make, $102, $200 every 2 weeks. You can
Right.
only work like 20 hours a week for work study. I think we were getting like $8 to $10 an hour, but you only work 20 hours a week. But I barely can make my 20-hour quota for the most part. Or if I did work more, you can't really get paid for more. But I mean, I don't regret that because that kind of shaped me into the job that I eventually got into, which is sports media. But it was just frustrating because it was like, what, like, huh? I don't have no credit cards. I barely have any credit. Like I didn't have any credit. Like I've never even applied for credit cards. I think when I was in school, everybody was applying for credit cards. I applied and got denied. I had no credit. And I'm like, I didn't have bad credit. And I'm looking at my credit report to make sure there's nothing on there and there's nothing there. But
Didn't have established
it was like
credit.
everything that people were getting, I was getting denied for.
Mhm.
My people in my classes were applying for like grad school and undergrad, applying for food stamps. They would get their little minimum $20 or $200 or whatever a month. I would get denied